Afia is of no value to the Americans. They would let her go tomorrow like that.
She was going to Islamabad to meet with the Senate chairman and people about her curriculum, and she never got to Islamabad. This was in March 2003.
Going out to Guantanamo and filming there for 4 days, I kept hearing about stories about this woman who was held in Bagram. The Americans said there's no women in Bagram. They totally denied it. And I wasn't convinced because there were too many people who had seen and gave descriptions of this woman being held in Bagram. So I started to look into who it could be, and Afia Siddiqui's name came into it. I then approached Imran Khan, and Imran, right from the very beginning, right from the very first day that Afia disappeared, had been alerted that this woman has disappeared. Her uncle, who was supposed to pick her up, said she hasn't turned up. She was due here with the 3 children. She hasn't come. I fear she's been kidnapped. But then the family, for whatever reason, the uncle totally flipped on the story and backtracked and said, it's okay, we don't want any news. I also recruited the help of Lord Nazir Ahmed, and he wrote a very stern letter to the Americans saying, who is this woman in Bagram? We know that her prison number is 650, and up until that point the Americans had been saying Yvonne Ridley is a fantasist, this woman doesn't exist, she's a journalist who was making things up. And suddenly they flipped and said, yeah, we did have this woman. There was a woman who was prisoner 650, and she's no longer in Bagram. And they wouldn't say anything more. I went the length and breadth of Pakistan with the help of Jamaat Islami, with the help of Imran Khan, and with the help of Lord Nazir Ahmed. And nobody came forward publicly on the record to say who the woman was in Bagram, other than people behind the scenes came to me and said, yes, it's Afia Siddiqui. I then took photographs of Afia before and 2 prisoners in ex-detainees who had been in Bagram, who'd subsequently gone to Guantanamo, and they said, yes, that's the woman.
I was in Bagram. We used to have one lady prisoner, and whose presence in the jail was of heartbreaking for all of us when she was pushed backward in power by the American soldiers.
Then I went back into Afghanistan because we'd heard that she had emerged and there'd been a shootout, and I went to Godez police station where the shooting had taken place. We did this filming and we spoke to people, and we got enough evidence to build a case that the woman in Bagram had been Afia Siddiqui, and the woman who was shot in the police station had been in Bagram. It all tied in. And we gave the the details to her legal team in America, free of charge. They were being paid millions by the Pakistan government to defend Afia, and they did a terrible job. I would have done a better job had I gone into the courtroom myself. And, you know, we rely so much on science these days in criminal investigations. And according to the American soldiers who shot Afia, they said that she grabbed their gun and shot at them. There was no GCI or gunshot residue found on Afia's clothing, no gunshot residue on her hands. There was nothing to say that she had fired a gun. What our filming did prove was that the Americans had panicked on seeing Afia and had just started firing their guns crazily and retreated from the cell where she was being held. But none of that was shown in the court case. The court case was, it wasn't justice. I have since spoken to American soldiers who went through the same training. And these particular soldiers that I've been speaking to, they have no love for Muslims. I would say they are Trump supporters. And we know what Donald Trump thinks of Muslims. And they have said, and they are furious at claims that this tiny little Pakistani woman sprung out, grabbed a gun from an American soldier and started shooting. They insist that would never, ever, ever, ever happen, because their training is such that an American soldier never, ever puts his gun down when he's on active duty, other than to reload or clean it. And the thought of any of them abandoning their weapon in a time of heightened tension is just impossible. I was days away from getting her released in exchange for the Taliban American soldier that the Taliban held, Bo Bergdahl. I was days away from getting her released, to the point where, we knew where the Chinook helicopter would come and drop her down and take up Bo Bergdahl. And it was all planned. We were days away from getting her released, and the plans collapsed. What I have learned is that Afia is of no value to the Americans. They would let her go tomorrow like that.